say it depends. It depends on your lifestyle and your luck. My lifestyle's been based on progressive passions. I call them progressive because they've changed as I've aged. Yes, I still do those 10,000 steps most days. I still love learning, and I take Ollie classes. I've even attempted tap dancing, as in the word attempted. And for adventure, when I was 74, not too long ago, I actually climbed a glacier. I was in Iceland with my wonderful teenage grandchildren, and it was an amazing experience, but I know there's a few people out here that are going, yeah, really, woman? I have a video to prove it. A few years ago, I was recognized in a 70 over 70 celebration. And, hey, better late than never, right? And we were asked to share our most outstanding achievement. Great. Here I am in a university community. We have Nobel laureates, Pulitzer Prize winners, and me. But I simply told the truth. Raising two well-balanced, kind, successful daughters has been my greatest achievement. Thank you. I often say I'm a VIP, vicariously impressive parent. However, when my parents raised me, it was a different time for women. Women were expected to know how to use an ironing board, a cutting board, but never be on a real board of directors. At that time, the careers for women were somewhat limited. I could be a secretary, but I couldn't type. I could be a nurse, but you don't want me near you in a surgical setting. Or I could be a teacher. Now, I love children and I love learning, so I became an educator. I had a position as a kindergarten teacher in central Pennsylvania in a farming town. We did a lot of architectural work, creating farms out of Play-Doh. Now, a number of years later, I had a career that dealt with real dough. In fact, I've had several careers. And one time, I was at a large corporation in the office of the CEO. And when the meeting was over, I went to open the closet door instead of the office door to leave. I tried to recover by saying, ha, I didn't bring a coat, but it was summertime. Friends would call me, I guess they're friends, and they'd say, I just pulled a Jono. If you want the translation, a Jono is sharing their embarrassing moment. Well, my kind, wise husband of over 58 years, who edits his thoughts, said, Joan, why did you share those embarrassing stories? 58 years, he should have figured it out. And I said, Ted, nobody likes a perfect person. That's why I have friends. So, I love you guys, by the way. I love to laugh. And you can see why it embarrasses my family. But so what? Laughter is a natural resource, and it improves the environment. Okay, I know, life is not always funny, and it sure hasn't been for me in the past. A lot of things happen that sure wouldn't happen today, but they did then. For example, I was working with a chauvinistic insurance salesman, And he wouldn't talk to a woman. He only would talk to my husband. Duh, he didn't know my husband, and he sure didn't know me. I canceled the policy. I should have thanked him though, because that led me to earn an insurance license myself. And then I went on to take financial planning courses, and I taught a base of financial planning to women who didn't have credit in their own names and couldn't get loans even though they owned the business. I guess you could say I helped them manage real dough, whatever. Another challenge was when we wanted to purchase rental property. I personally wouldn't recommend that for us. It was a fiasco. So after that fiasco, I earned a real estate license. Knowledge is power. Shortly after that, I was hired by Carle Health Systems as their first representative to market their first HMO. It was called Carle Care at that time. My children were so excited. They were younger, and I'm there, really? Then I realized they thought I was marketing HBO. No, we didn't get HBO. In my career at Carle, I've had an opportunity for several advancements. However, it was been my daughter's generation that really benefited from all the changes in the workplaces today, in almost all fields. Recently, my older daughter, Amy, was promoted to Executive Vice President at a Fortune 100 company. And yay! And when I texted her, that's what we do, she said, "Thanks, Mom. You paved the way for Sarah and me because you had a career that mattered. Love, Amy." As you know, there are no guarantees with parenting. And trust me, there are no guarantees with aging either. It can be awful, or it can be awesome. For example, I recently had to get hearing aids after denying it for maybe 2 years. But I was pleasantly surprised to find out I could stream podcasts and music directly into my ears. And you don't see me walking around with those oversized Q-tips hanging out of my ears. As I aged, I celebrated each decade with a party because any excuse to be with my girlfriends is a good reason to have a party. When I turned 60, that was some time ago, my daughters planned a big party. My younger daughter, Sarah, did all the cooking. Today, she's a successful restaurateur, and she has worked with Julia Child, Charlie Trotter, Martha Stewart, and she's cooked for Oprah, 3 U.S. presidents, and major Hollywood stars. Hey, Sarah. Well, Sarah was being featured as an outstanding young alumni at the News Gazette, and the News Gazette sent photographers to our house the day of the party. I tried not to be in the picture, but when it came out in the paper, there I was in the corner behind my amazing daughter. Now, everyone in town knew I was 60, and quite a few people knew they weren't invited to that party with the good food. Well, I always say that you can have fun and help others at the same time. So when the party invitations went out, they said, "Joni wants a truck." If you know me, that didn't quite make sense. However, I was on the board of directors of the Eastern Illinois Food Bank at the time, and they needed a truck. So I'm proud to say, with the donations we raised enough money to help the food bank buy a truck. I like to say, if you're feeling bad, do something good. And I've also found that being kind, volunteering, mentoring, and sharing sincere compliments, it doesn't cost a cent, and it's very valuable. Obviously, I've been retired for some time, and I noticed when other people didn't seem to like the word retired, I didn't like it because it had the word tired in it, and I wasn't tired. In fact, when I say it, I'm retired, people would act like I had a bad case of COVID or leprosy. I was dead to them. They were so wrong. So I decided to create a way to change the attitude. When people then ask me, oh, where do you work? And instead of saying I'm retired, I said, I'm a consultant. Hey, I don't lie. I had business cards printed that said, JAJ Consulting. Just ask Joan. Hey, the service was free. And I got a lot of really interesting requests. So I also formed a group of women over age 60. Let's not push it too far. And the name of our group is Rewirement. And so we meet once a month, and we talk about how we have rewired since we've left the workplace. Yes, I've had a good life, not perfect. However, being in front of this audience of intelligent, interesting women and a few smart men is... Hey, I'm going to stay married for 59 years. I now am ready to keep on stepping into the next decade and into a full life of love and laughter. I hope you'll join me.